Hello and welcome back to Film Exaggeration for the final part of the worst month. No, let's just do this. This is Loqueesha. Released in 2019, Loquisha was directed, written, produced, and stars comedian Jeremy Saville. Great! Another one-man show! I do not know anything about this guy, and quite frankly, I don't care. Maybe he's funny on stage, I don't care to watch any of it. I'm going into this movie blind. When the trailer was released, it was immediately surrounded by controversy, so much so that the film was rejected from several film festivals. I don't know how big its theatrical release was, but it ended up with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and was considered one of the worst movies of the year by many people. I remember seeing the trailer, but I didn't actually watch the movie because I simply didn't want to. But now I have to. This is Loqueesha. So I'll say this actually looks like a movie. After the last three, it's nice to see one that has lighting and actual cameras and microphones. Although if your films still look like that by the year 2019 when everyone has a smartphone, then you just fail at life. So it's barely a compliment. We see bartender Joe, played by Saville, talking to some business guy.
You know, George, I might just be a lowly barkeep, but I always say I gotta be me. Otherwise, who else is gonna do it?
What was the joke? So apparently Joe has the ability to say the exact right thing to the right person no matter what. A woman comes in, pissed off, and asks for something strong. I never got why people drank stuff that hurts to swallow when you can get drunk off stuff that tastes fine. So it turns out this woman, named Rachel, played by Tiara Parker, is angry at her husband.
Men!
Glad I'm not that guy.
Oh, you're all the same. You say what you need to get what you want.
Hey lady, at least we don't lift our arm up in between cuts. So we get into pointless gender war stuff that includes Joe putting on a fake Indian accent.
I can't trust him.
But you keep doing it anyway.
I mean, he says, give me another chance, so I give it, and then he lies again.
Lady, if you need advice on this, then frankly, I don't think Joe here can help you. You're just stupid. Well, Joe tells her exactly that, and instead of throwing the glass in his face, she accepts the criticism.
You don't have to count on anybody else to do it.
I have to go. I have something that I need to do.
She then went home and murdered her husband. She tells him that he should charge for that advice. Remember, that advice being to not enable her husband's lying, which anyone could give. Joe goes to visit his ex-wife, who tells him in the doorway for some reason that their son, named Jason, is very gifted and should be sent to an advanced school, but it's very expensive.
$13,000 a semester? That's like college tuition. Don't they have any scholarships?
They're all taken for the upcoming year.
Then just wait a year.
No, I won't have my son missing out on an opportunity for an excellent life because his father is either too weak, dumb, or lazy to provide for his needs.
Fuck you, lady. The next day, Rachel brings him flowers to give to Joe to thank him for the advice. That's weird. And gives him a slip for a local radio station looking for talk show hosts. But he's not interested.
I get it. You're one of those guys. You know, the ones that preach from on high, but then when push comes to shove, they make excuses for not doing the right thing.
No one talks like that. Back with the wife.
Any progress?
I'm trying.
You need to stop trying and just do it.
Lady, what do you do for a living? And yes, it's not lost on me that the guy who wrote and directed this is the clear good guy in this relationship. We cut to Joe recording an audition with Rachel, but things start pretty bad, especially with these continuity errors. Seriously, her arms keep moving up, and normally I would forgive something like that, but it just keeps happening.
I would say he's scared because he works very hard to be authentic. All that hard-fought wisdom he's accrued by rigorous self-examination and ruthless accountability gets displaced with a self-conscious tic as he strives to satisfy a fickle public opinion.
Again, this is how people talk. This is some of the most pretentious, self-indulgent writing I've seen in a while. I wouldn't like it either way, but knowing that the person who wrote it is also the person saying it just annoys me personally, and unfortunately he doesn't get it. The next morning, oh my god, I thought my special effects were bad. Anyway, he's watching a show called Trash Talking about two sassy black women, well, trash talking.
See, they want women and minorities. They don't want white guys like me telling them what to do. If I was a black woman, I'd be perfect.
Well, congrats, Jeremy. You were way ahead of the curve on the anti-DEI stuff of the mid-2020s. Yep, this is our premise. Joe decides to audition for the job as a sassy black woman named Loqueesha.
I can't remember Loqueesha.
Well, you better, otherwise on your gravestone they're gonna read, "Here lies Ted. Who cares?" Next column.
So this is what caused a lot of controversy, a white man imitating the voice of a black woman. And look, I get it. I'm not gonna say the feelings of women and minorities isn't valid, but my problem is that it's not even that good of a joke, nor is it that good of an impression. If you're gonna do it, at least commit to it. Well, he does get a call back, asked to come into the station for an interview.
So what's new, Joe?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me, I'm pretty well, so I'll believe you anything at this point.
Man, and I thought my drunk acting was bad. Actually, so far, this guy's probably the funniest part of the movie. So Joe needs to somehow go into an interview as a black woman, which you can see is gonna be a bit hard. Will this movie commit to blackface? No, they aren't brave enough to do something that stupid. Turns out the station is losing money and they're looking for something new, and really love Loquisha.
I love it. But we don't do talk radio.
Then we'll start.
Wait, I thought you were specifically looking for people to do talk radio.
You know, ever since you got that smartphone, all you do is check it.
I got a lot of Facebook friends I need to keep up with.
You don't even know those people.
Just because you haven't met somebody doesn't mean they can't be your friend.
Movie, don't try and do social media commentary. I've heard it. Well, Joe texts them back saying Loquisha can't come down to the station due to suffering from xenophobia. Don't ask. But they can speak via phone. Hey, you know what existed in 2019? Skype. No, they interview over phone because they're desperate and dumb.
We really enjoyed your demo tape.
Yeah, we just loved it.
I didn't send you no demo tape.
You didn't?
No. I sent you an audio file.
You're a white man, aren't you? No, they offer her a 3-hour weeknight slot, and he gets $500 a week, and accepts. Unfortunately, we'll have to work in the studio with an engineer.
Okay, I think maybe I could come in, but I need to choose my own producer and engineer. I'm gonna bring them with me. And nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to be in the studio when I'm doing my show. And I don't want anybody to watch me coming and going either, okay?
You know, Joe, at this point, you could just tell them the truth and they'll probably go along with it.
Did you see the Jennifer Hudson trial where her brother-in-law killed her entire family? Well, I got some men out there, if they knew where I was, would want to do some nasty-ass shit to me, and maybe to you fellas, too.
Okay, sorry, ma'am, this is getting way too dangerous and we're gonna have to reject you. Well, he gets the job and celebrates, but he still needs a producer. And thankfully, he knows a black guy, and I guess all black guys know how to produce radio. This is Mason, played by Dwayne Perkins, and he agrees to do it, but doesn't understand why it has to be a secret.
What I'm about to share with you can never, ever leave this room.
Are we about to kill somebody?
Okay, finally, a legit funny joke. He tells them the truth and he decides to go along with it. So they have the studio vacated for the woman they've never met who says she's wanted by dangerous people. I would immediately assume they were gonna steal a bunch of shit, but fine. And he starts his first show.
You live with Loquisha. Welcome to the first episode. My name is Loquisha, and we gonna be talking.
Seriously, if I heard this, I wouldn't believe it's a black woman. After a few jokes that are okay at best, Loquisha gets her first caller.
Well, it's my girlfriend. All right, stop right there. She like dominating you. She out of control. Yeah.
How the hell did you figure that out?
All right, here's what you do. Next time she do something you don't like, just say no. What do you mean, just like no? That's right.
Great, Joe. Your calling is giving the most pathetic people on earth the most basic self-help advice.
My boyfriend has a son slightly rash.
Okay, stop right there. Any man with a rash is not worth holding on to. Get rid of him.
Or you're breaking up relationships for the most petty reasons ever.
Hi, my name is Larry.
Larry, you a computer programmer, ain't you?
Yes, I program in C++.
Larry, I'm gonna tell you right away. You need to get laid, Larry.
Excuse me?
Ain't no excuse for it, Larry. You need to get yourself some coochie.
So, is this supposed to be good advice or not? Like, it started out with the most basic, yeah, no shit stuff like don't enable liars and stand up for yourself, and now it's you need to get laid to be a real man.
Well done.
Don't enable him. So Loquisha starts to become a hit.
You go, girl.
You white people so afraid to say what's on your mind. What you so afraid of? You the one running things. You like slaves to what other people think. After all these years, white people are the slaves.
You see, a lot of people would get offended at that. I just don't find it funny. But she gets her first heckler who says she's racist and sexist towards white men.
What the hell would you know about being a white guy anyway?
I think I know quite a bit.
Get it?
But I possess the powers of observation, and it doesn't take a particular body part or skin color to see that you really don't like the idea of a black woman understanding you so much.
Okay, now it's starting to get into yikesy territory. Also, by this point, I think Joe might be psychic, as he can predict pretty much everything that no one could possibly figure out. But through the power of, well, just kind of being a bitch, she manages to cheer him up.
I'm gonna help you with that one too, because I think it's that I have figured out how to do something that you have yet to.
Like what?
Cultural appropriation. So we get a news segment on her by an anchor who doesn't wear makeup saying she's a huge hit. Also, this is not how local news graphics work.
Loquisha's a genius. She tuned into what my problem was in 2 minutes. She's like the new Freud of the airwaves.
So wrong and sexist? Yeah, that makes sense.
So I suggest you just strip down in your drawers, hid in your office, and let everybody there know you letting it all hang out from now.
That woman was then fired for indecent exposure. So the bosses consider moving her up to the 3 to 6 time slot, meaning she'll get a raise. But it'll be harder to keep the secret. But don't worry, after all, Joe is the director and writer, so he of course has a plan for this.
They want Loqueesha? We give them Loqueesha.
We'll skin a black woman alive and I'll wear her. No, they auditioned black women for the role, and I'll admit this part got me.
Next.
But they find the perfect woman named Renee, played by Mara Hall, who is so far the funniest character in the movie.
Get the part, we'll tell you everything.
See, I don't know about that. Sometimes I see these listings on Craigslist that say actress performer, and when you ask them, it turns out they just making a porno.
We're not making a porno.
We're making a different kind of exploitation movie.
Sweet Jesus, I knew you wouldn't let me down. This was the role I was born to play. This movie's gonna do for me what Dreamgirls did for Jennifer Hudson.
No, this movie's gonna do for you what Cats did for Jennifer Hudson. I'm gonna say it, this woman is too good for this. I looked her up, and besides some guest appearances on Grey's Anatomy, her most famous project was a small part in Hillbilly Elegy. She just seems to like propping up shitty white men. Well, she gets the job, and I guess they tell her the truth. She even goes out in public as Loquisha.
I just love my fans, and I'm so glad they love me back so much.
Yeah, it totally sounds the same.
As Loqueesha says, ain't nobody did it to you but you.
Your Honor, please take this seriously. This person is on trial for child molestation. She becomes a local celebrity. Everyone can't get enough of Loqueesha, and we are only halfway through. Oh, remember how the whole reason he was doing this was to get money for his son's school? Well, that finally comes back as he gives his ex-wife the money. Oh, and remember Rachel? Yeah, she's back too. Turns out she broke up with her boyfriend, even though I thought it was her husband. Who cares? And now she has a crush on Joe.
Everybody makes mistakes. And sometimes we make the same one over and over and over and over and over again.
This is getting manipulative now. You realize you can never tell her the truth now? Anyway, she calls him and invites him over.
You are the only person who I've ever met who is just completely honest. You just tell the truth. You don't care about the consequences or what anybody thinks of you.
You could make a shitty movie where you impersonate a black woman and you wouldn't feel the least bit ashamed. But as they start to make out, Loquisha's voice comes out.
Oh, you don't know Joe.
Meaning his black woman voice is the same as his aroused voice. I'm not exactly sure how to feel about that.
Are you making fun of me because I'm black? Are you like mocking me in some fucked up, twisted way?
I think I might be a black woman trapped in a white man's body.
Is this trying to make a statement, or are you people just dumb? So he leaves, and after arguing with himself, he gets pulled over by the cops.
I am Loqueesha, officer.
That was a brilliant impression. You sound just like her.
I am her. Shut up.
So he has split personality now? Basically, we're ripping off Liar Liar, but instead the truth comes in the form of a sassy black lady. Thankfully, he gets off with a warning because despite the black woman side of his personality, he is in fact white.
Stop it. I ain't gonna stop nothing. You're out of control. You can't control me, white boy. Oh, we'll see.
He's bipolar. So he goes to his mother, but she just tells him to talk to Loqueesha. Why is there still 36 minutes left? Please let this be one of those movies with like 10-minute credits. So that night he decides to talk to Loqueesha live on air, which means he's talking to himself, and the more I watch this, the more I think this man needs to be put in a mental institution.
No, it's not that. I know she's made up. She's a figment of my imagination.
So you invented like some sort of imaginary girlfriend?
Sounds like Loquisha's got a real nutbag on the line.
I don't know where she stops and I take over.
Ah, so you think she like out of control?
No, she's still in my power.
Your power?
How do we get here? I did not expect this movie to feature an existential crisis. For the love of God, dude, go to a therapist.
Oh, you got mommy issues.
No, I've just been very confused lately about your sexual identity.
You know, I'm just realizing what could have made this premise work at least a little bit. Remember Sorry to Bother You and how Cash had a white voice?
Hey, Mr. Kramer, this is Langston from Regal View. I didn't catch you at the wrong time, did I?
Maybe do that here. Get an actual black woman to dub his voice. That would have probably made this funnier.
But even though the ventriloquist knows that he's the one behind it, and he's the one getting the love from the audience,
You mean you?
yeah, I can't feel it anymore.
Movie, I don't care what you're trying to say.
Maybe some of this is worth a damn, but I don't care. Your movie isn't good enough. The premise is dumb and it feels like a vanity project. So he agrees to let her be, whatever the hell that means.
Hey, I know you just talked yourself off the ledge. You think you can do it for real this time?
What's up?
You got a jumper.
No!
Yes, a woman about to jump off a bridge is calling Loqueesha. So she tells her to jump since she's just looking for attention.
So go ahead, Doris. Make everybody happy. Do what you gotta do.
Why would you say that, Loquisha?
Movie, what are you doing? Why are you trying to tackle all these serious topics?
You ever been to Paris, Doris?
No.
You need to talk to the future Doris, who is having an incredible time in Paris, not to mention many other adventures.
You don't know her story. What if she's broke or suffering from a disease? Well, he stops her from jumping and soon starts going viral, even getting an offer for a show on the Oprah Winfrey Network.
I got an offer from Oprah's network to do a Loquisha Live TV show.
What'd you say?
What do you think I said? I said no.
Why?
How dumb are you?
Renee's pissed that he turned it down, and you know, I'm just now starting to think about some stuff like, how does she live her life as a famous star? I mean, wouldn't people come up to her and ask her to help solve their problems? Anyway, she starts calling him out for his cultural appropriation and demands she gets 70% of his paycheck.
Now you're telling me you want 30% of everything?
No, I don't want 30%.
Well, that's a relief.
You get 30%.
What?
Yeah, if you keep talking, you'll get 25 and then 20.
So the villain in this movie, where a white man impersonates a black woman, is an actual black woman.
Because if you don't, I would tell everybody. And I do mean everybody.
Are you blackmailing me?
No, I'm black femaling you.
Boo! He goes to his ex-wife, and we finally found out her name is Cindy, so that's nice. And after hearing from Jason how much he loves the school, he agrees to Renee's deal.
So how's your school, Jason?
It's great. I really love it.
Stop pretending this was a character.
This kid has barely been a thing the entire movie, and now he's the one giving us the setup for the climax? Bullshit. So that night, Loqueesha ends the show, announcing that this will be the last show due to personal reasons she will be retiring.
What the fuck are you doing? You said we had a deal.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, you can't cancel the show.
I just did.
I'll tell everybody.
Don't treat her like she's a villain. She's not a villain.
Well, I guess Renee takes over the role, yet somehow she's still the bad guy, according to this movie's logic.
You're despicable.
And you're fired!
And of course, the show starts failing with her in the role, showing once and for all that white men are better at everything, even being non-white men. What the hell is wrong with you, movie? After comparing herself to God, she's threatened with firing, so goes back to Joe.
She was never meant to be outrageous. She's not a goddamn reality show or a shock jock or a clown.
Are you sure about that, Joe? Because based on what I've seen, I'm not so sure myself.
I messed up. You want me to admit it? There, I said it. You are a better black woman than I am.
It was never about race or gender or fame or fortune. It's about telling the truth straight from your heart.
No, movie, shut up, okay? Just stop. Stop doing things.
Joe refuses to come back and instead drives to the station and tells them the truth.
Wait, are you her boyfriend?
I'm not her boyfriend.
Then you got to help me out here, Joe. What exactly are you doing here?
I'm Loquisha.
Come again?
And he was sued into bankruptcy.
Now that we know, it's like one of those M. Night Shyamalan movies where you go, of course.
Oh, you mean The Sixth Sense? Because the other ones were predictable and stupid, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, no, dude. You do not have any right judging other people's movies.
They try to convince him to stay, confessing that Loquisha is fake but continue the show. Joe says to let the audience decide.
I just realized this movie has the same basic premise as Hannah Montana.
Well, he tells the truth, and everyone not only believes him, not only do his friends and family call him a genius despite his lying to them, not only does Rachel forgive him for using Loquisha to give advice on their relationship, but the audience votes in a tie to not only continue as Loquisha, but also give Joe his own show.
Right now, I'm going to hand it off to one of my favorite people and yours, who's got just one question for you. What's your problem?
Oh, I'm sure they're very proud of you. Also, whatever happened to Renee? Yes, but for different reasons than most said, because for all this movie's problems, its biggest is that it is phenomenally boring.
Of the 5 movies I reviewed this month, this was the hardest one to get through. While I didn't dislike it as much as Myra Breckenridge, and it's better made than the last 3, though it still has some big editing and directing mistakes, it was easily the most boring. There are some talented people in this, but with slow pace, dull characters, a predictable plot, and story with very little humor, there's nothing to really latch onto besides the problematic elements. I choose to believe that this movie had good intentions, but this film is so unlikable that I can't recommend this even as a so bad it's good movie. Avoid it like the plague.
Okay, time for my final instructions. What do you got for me? Open the door.